Welcome back to the $1 million major, part of the Dota 2 professional circuit. This is ESL One Katowice 2018. For the first time ever here in Poland, a major Dota 2 championship comes this way, and we are very excited to enter the weekend. The crowd's going to be here. I'm sure they're going to pack out the Spodek Arena, bring all that fanatical support that they've shown other games over the years, over the last 6 years of the events that have taken place here, just to show again that it's another magical place to come and do esports. We are on day one right now. Our 6th and final series is upon us. Already Virtus.pro have claimed the first game. They've kind of brooded the first game. Are they going to take game 2 is the big question on our lips right now. We're rejoined by our panel members, Nahaz, Capitalist, and Fog. We're all back to view game number 2 and take you through the draft, which is just around the corner. Alan, you know, the first question is, do they get brooded again, or do they just, you know, be careful this time heading into that last couple of picks and bans?
Yeah, I think you can get away with just flat out banning it. I'd rather see it, as Fog and I were talking about, 4th or 5th than one of your opening 3. But I just think if you're Mineski, your focus has to be give yourself a chance in the draft. You're playing really well. Yeah. VP maybe a little vulnerable, maybe not after the roster change, but we just didn't learn anything from that first game.
Yeah, I was going to ask Fog, as a player, as a former player in that team, you've been in this position where you get brooded in the best of friends, you're just kind of, how do you bounce back up? Because it is annoying, isn't it? You kind of go, kind of ruined all their plans, and it's tough to play again. It's frustrating. How do you wipe that clear and go into game 2 clear?
Well, for Mineski, they're a brute team, so they have to be prepared for it, right? I think if you ban it first 3, that's gonna put way too much fear for me. I feel like they have to be able to ban it in the 4th, 5th. If they open up with it on the first 2 for VP, Mineski have to have a solution for it. As a brood team, you have to already be prepared for that.
Yeah. But in mentality, what's going through their heads? How do they
we just got last pick brooded.
Yeah.
That's
do they just forget about it?
It's
like, whatever. We've done it to other teams. They've done it to us.
I think that's the last time we'll see a 5th pick brooded at this tournament. Really? There's no way that anyone else is going to forget after something like that. After the game is over at pretty much the 10-minute mark.
Pretty powerful reminder.
Especially when your lineup was already so exposed to it. It wasn't like, oh, it's a pretty good Broodmother game. It was a really good Broodmother game. There was a whole bunch of single target. There was very few heroes that could get on top of the Broodmother. Like, again, Night Stalker is like, he went from being kind of one of the better ones to actually being one of the worst because of the cliff walking aspect.
I mean, I like the point Fog made about Mineski is a brood team.
Yeah, they're the brood team.
The #1 and #2 all-time records for GPM on brood are Ramsey's #2, Ice #1. Yeah. He's the only player ever with over 800 GPM on the hero. I mean, and it does bear mentioning, though, as much as we talk about the brood, it was actually the gyrocopter that led the board in hero damage by a wide margin. No one really did a lot with that early space that he was given. So, but I in a way, you know, I think those are the easy losses to come back from. You just kind of say, fine, it happens. Yeah. Anybody that's played the pro game for any length of time, that happens. You get surprised in the draft, you lose to a cheese strat.
It's like getting last pick Drow Ranger or something.
Exactly.
Not now, because Drow Ranger kind of sucks. But in the past, when it was like, wow, we just got Drow Rangered.
Yeah, you talk about Nature's Prophet being a bad hero. Yeah. Drow Ranger.
Wow, we just got meat-poed.
Yeah, like wow, exactly. It's one of those. Like in the past, it's been more like the 4th pick brood was like, oh my god. Now, if you get 5th, it's similar.
And now this is why we say that best of 3 Dota is so much better than best of 1 Dota, because that can so easily happen.
Yeah,
I think the interesting part for me has been the relevance of Gyrocopter in the first 1-2 pickups here. Yeah. Again, we're talking about cores that are the strongest right now when it comes to all parts of the game. Gyrocopter is easily one of the more aggressive, and also matches up against all the other heroes that we look at as strong 1-2s. Terrorblade and Phantom Lancer are my go-to cores that I think about as just like kind of YOLO picking up sometimes, and Gyro's good against them both. So,
although it did lose all 3 games in the previous series.
Yeah.
That can happen too. I mean, that's the problem with it, isn't it? It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like sometimes the results of the drafting and the picking up, like you see these teams will still pick up these heroes because they know that they are effective, even if they do lose.
I mean, and as simple as it sounds, you do have to pick 2 heroes in the first phase, and those heroes are going to be vulnerable to counterpicking. That's just the way it works.
But then that's the argument for picking support.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, you know, the dual support or the support offlane, support flex opens have been so popular. But I think Gyro, you know, we saw obviously in the last game, if you can generate some space for it, it's good at all phases of the game. That's something we talked about in the first series.
You know how like some people have got a devil and an angel on their shoulders, right? I've got a Nahaz and a Knoxville on mine.
Oh, please no.
And the Nox.
How have you not killed yourself right now?
Exactly. I mean, that's the first question.
Please.
But Nox is currently screaming at me, going, talk to me about if you pick 4 Gyro, if you pick him in 4th, he's got a better win rate than if you pick him in the first 2. But that's what's going on in my head right now. That's got to be
That's
a thing,
a blatantly ridiculous statement.
Hang on, stats never lie. That's what I learned.
So anyway, into our draft.
I can't even hear you guys say those anymore. After seeing the Shannon and the Slacks video, blatantly ridiculous.
Brilliant. Yes, as Nahaz rightly points out, let's get back to the serious business of draft number 2, because bans are almost complete for the first phase.
Basically, Gyro is the Lycan of like a month and a half ago. Right?
Yeah,
where it's
that's
that
a good
core
point.
that
Yeah,
is like really hard to be able to. It's just a little bit different in that Lycan could absorb pressure. Gyrocopter is very good at being able to put out pressure.
Insta-pick Naga.
Wow. Yeah, a little bit different. VP, the ones with first pick overall here, so the bans have really changed on both sides. I still do like VP's taking out of the Moon Death Prophet in the first phase, but Naga was banned by VP with their first ban in the last series, with Mineski having first pick.
I think this is a great pick here, because you know there's a bunch of other heroes like the Omni, but he's been getting relegated to later on, and I think giving Mineski Naga is a bad idea. I think it just opens up their pool way too much. They can run their Jakiro, they can run their Mirana, they can run just so many different combo aspects.
Well, and at the same time, it's good with the style that they run, and it's very good against it, because Mineski, when they're in their stride, it's heavy team fighting, heavy into these combos like the Puck and the Vengeful Spirit, and that Naga just gives you a reset button.
Gyro is, I think, one of the more acceptable cores versus Naga Siren. First of all, it deprives you of the Naga Gyro combo. But it's also an early BKB buyer, and one of those heroes that just outputs his damage, and you can't really stop it.
Are Virtus.pro setting themselves up for that? Do you think they'll...
I think they could easily... I think Mineski could do it here. Sand King Gyro was the open that VP used in the last game, so...
Some very big smiles on the Virtus.pro players' faces right now.
I think this bane was for the Gyro.
Yes.
I think that's what they were expecting.
Yeah.
Because I think the way that Vici showed it, how well that bane can actually address it was so concrete for me. And I think VP they just wanted to trick it up right here.
I think VP's a little bit in their head.
I think there might be a little bit in their head right now.
I think they baited the bane with the threat of the Gyrocopter.
You were saying something about Witch Doctor? Sorry.
No, Witch Doctor was just insta-picked. Oh. That was all. Yeah, it was insta-picked by Virtus.pro.
And there's, okay, so the Gyro ban by Mineski, so neither side will have that, and VP are gonna go ahead and take out.
The combos are there.
Yeah.
Sand King Bane, way too good to set up from Mirana arrows.
Yeah.
So target Moon. I think now you can even take out the Puck because you don't have reliable disables. Naga Witch Doctor can't make the rotations on that Puck here. I think you just full out target Moon. Now for Mineski.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, it's tough. I mean, Moon does have a number of heroes that he's quite good on, and I think the SF is something that I've seen recently from him that I've really liked, and potentially slots in right here as able to output a lot of AoE damage behind the Bane and the SK setup.
Solo's got this he looks like he's got this slight grin right now.
He really, this is the thing I remember about him from Hamburg, is that he never, if you looked at him with the camera on him during these drafts, never looked uncomfortable.
No.
It was just...
Oh, they look like they're having the time of their lives during drafts.
Yeah.
You know, they genuinely look like they're... It's like that kind of evil Snape laugh.
Unless they lose a game. When they lose a game, you see Solo gets very
chill.
His face shows all that emotion.
Yeah.
So they ban the bat, take the brew.
Yep, true form.
OD was taken out by VP.
Focusing on the Moon.
Still focusing on Moon. I think that's the way to play versus this team.
I agree. I think it's a. You talk about Ice being high impact as well, but he has such a broad hero pool, it's impossible to man it out.
Ironic T-shirt.
5 seconds remaining.
Considering the pick we've just had from Mineski.
I didn't see it.
Statsman's wearing a Brewmaster shirt.
Oh gosh.
Plenty to think about here for Virtus.pro. Plenty to think about for Mineski as well.
And your Omni Knight's still on the table.
Ooh,
you could do something like
that seems to have thrown them a little bit. They're usually very swift with these.
I'd actually like Beastmaster more.
These pieces.
I think, I mean, Beastmaster's in my top 4 heroes right now.
I like Tidehunter right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off
the
Tide.
Tide Naga.
Yeah. Tough Naga.
Off Tide.
Off Tide.
I'm surprised we haven't seen much of it today.
It's
One,
we only saw
maybe?
what Universe, the Fnatic one.
There was one more, I think.
Was there one in one of the other games?
Yeah. I want to say.
Stepping away from offlaners, I also like the Razor here as well.
I mean, they could still just do. They take.
And they're taking. Okay, so this is definitely a block pick.
That's a block, right?
Yep.
That has to be a block
sure.
pick. So that's Pasha. Right,
Not necessarily. I mean,
you don't think
like, so they've been running it. I believe they've been running it predominantly on Pasha lately.
I think so too.
6 games of Pasha to only 1 for no one. But remember, back in the day, like no one's puck was groundbreaking.
Oh, absolutely.
He was one of the first ones to really play an in-your-face puck, focusing less on the elusiveness of the hero and more on the burst damage potential.
Harder to run that now with the coil change, unfortunately.
Here's a couple of fun stats for you. Virtus.pro are 100% since 707 on Naga. 1 game only though. And are 0% on Witch Doctor, but have only played 2 games. See, stats don't lie. That's what I've got to.
N is important, Paul. I mean,
so the one Mineski could.
Okay.
Just take the PO. So that's Mushi.
More than likely.
Okay.
I was feeling
like that.
The PL before the puck. I don't think puck is enough of a disincentive to stop PL pick.
And 6 and 1 on this one, Mineski.
Yep.
Since 707. Very nice win, right?
I think it still leaves you relatively open in terms of the hero that you last pick for your mid. Now the hero pool is definitely a little smaller, but SF is still there. Quap is still there.
So is he gonna go Radiance Lifestealer this game then? Probably.
Maybe the Battle Fury build.
Maybe the Battle Fury, yeah.
I wanted to talk about that.
He went Radiance earlier, right?
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
It's Ramses himself, yeah.
Yep.
Either way,
versus PL.
I think the
Lifestealer
is an important addition to this puck and the amount of burst damage that you provide against the PL. Like, you need more than... It feels like just 500 burst damage is just not enough. You need like 700 AoE burst damage to really make the PL feel threatened. And like allow an easier way to be able to like clear through his doppelganger illusions after the fact, etc., etc. It's like the little bit of burst damage you get really snowballs heavily in these team fights.
Yeah, and this all but locks it down as a Pasha puck.
Pasha puck, yeah.
Focusing on being the delivery vehicle.
What were you gonna ask about that?
I was gonna ask about your thoughts on the Battle Fury Lifestealer build, because we again can't really learn much from the last game at all. Mushi did go that Battle Fury build to get on Lifestealer, but I don't think that would have mattered.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, but I was sitting next to S4 in the other room and watching the game, and he's like, this guy needs to go Battle Fury this game.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think there's an item choice that he could have made that would have affected the outcome of that game.
Agreed.
So that's kind of the question. Is this a Battle Fury?
I'm a bigger fan of the Radiance versus PL, because that miss rate on the illusions is massive, and then you can actually figure out which one's the real one pretty quickly. They already have a lot of tools to do that, but so I think it applies too many things to that. And the evasion, I mean, you can get that Solar Crest build on top too, and then PL does not build MKB and gets crushed.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth, I agree completely. But I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
See, that's the cool thing about Dota is like some people would look and they'd be like, you know, PL, Lifesteal can't handle illusions, but that's you can itemize. That's
exactly
that's the beauty of the game. And they take out Tinker.
Huh.
They just put no one on Lifesteal. They pick Brood Mother. No, not this game.
Okay,
they have much better heroes to catch the Brood this time on Mineski.
Yes.
So I'm glad they didn't at least ban the Brood. They weren't that put off by it, and the VP picks up the Dragon Knight, so it will be Pasha on that fucking DK.
Yeah.
Now they have 2 kind of ways to deal with the PL in a way. Lifesteal not the best in a way, you have to itemize, but Dragon Knight, you get to that level 12, you get to that level 18, you got the splash, you tank up. Once you run out of mana, you just stand toe-to-toe and PL doesn't really hit you that hard.
And the Dragon Knight, you know, this year only 1-1 is no one, but if you go back to last year, like no one had this unbelievable streak on Dragon Knight, and he's a punishing laner on that hero. So here you go. Mineski gonna go back to what worked with them for them earlier today. They're gonna go back to the Ice Timbersaw against the Dragon Knight, try and isolate that. I think the difference is here, this is more than likely a mid DK rather than offlane.
Where's Brew going?
Yeah,
now they've got Brew Timber and a PL.
Yeah, that's true. They've only really played it in the off, haven't they?
Oof.
I think this choice was, for me, was either Timbersaw or the Viper. Because you already have the Dragon Knight and the Lifestealer out there. There are some cores that are super effective against both of those.
So it might well be that they put that Timber mid.
Yeah, they put Timber mid against the Dragon Knight, then they put the Brewmaster off lane.
Yeah.
I think that's what they'll do.
Yeah, because you know the mid matchup is going to be like pretty easy for you. Like you can get really greedy when you see a Dragon Knight pick up like that.
But
now we might see the DK go offlane.
Yeah,
and
that's
go
the thing.
Though.
I think I think VP can easily dodge.
You're not necessarily upset about that if you're
Timbersaw,
right? You're not like, oh,
I'm just going to let them carry on arguing because I love a good argument. Meanwhile, the game's about to start, so let's head over to our commentary team for game number 2.
So you got to give Red a lot of respect. He knows when to tell the kids to shut up or just to move it on. Blitz, Fogged and Cap are actually right. Luckily, we didn't have to go to predictions on this one. It's actually Ice who's playing the Brewmaster, and it's Moon who's on the Timbersaw. How do you like to pick up with the Timber? Do you feel like Mineski kind of all-inning a little bit by grabbing that Timber in the last one, or like does it balance out their lineup against VP?
I think it balances out their lineup. Plus, it's just a nice matchup against DK, against no one.
Okay. Because he will be running that mid, so it is the DK going up against the Timber, and then the top lane Brewmaster. Maybe not the most favorable matchups, but it seems Ice is just having to deal with that this series. It's going to be Witch Doctor and Lifestealer against him on that top lane. That's actually, how the hell do you even lane that as a Brewmaster? Do you play defensive? Do you go like Jimmy hiding in trees?
I think Ice is one of the better offlaners at getting stuff in impossible situations. So I think he'll be fine. Maybe he'll have like a death or two, but it won't mean too much.
I'm just thinking, like, is it worth rotating heroes up to the top lane, like bringing Ninja Boogie up there to try and tilt the balance of a little bit more, as Mushi does have a little bit more to escape with potential doppelganger on the Phantom Lancer?
No, I think if anything, you bring Jabs up there to harass.
No?
I'll tell you a story,
They're actually all coming up now. But tell us the story before they fight.
Actually, I'll tell you it after.
Okay. I will remind you about a story, because I love Blitz story time. But they're coming to contest the rune, so 3 seconds. Maldic's already been used on the Brewmaster. They Burrow Strike now. Oh, Pasha. Ramsey's actually already managed to pick up one of the runes. Ramsey's body blocking by Jabs. He can't get out of this one. He wants to. He's only got rage. That won't help him. First Blood's built by Mineski on the safe laner of Virtus.pro. And now the decision is, where do you want to go? Timber is now actually down on the bottom lane, and they push Mushi into the mid against no one.
Wow, that was such a sick body block by Jabs. Really well done.
Doesn't
even have boots.
Can I know your story?
All right, so it's before the Boston Major, okay? Weehaw is playing Dragon Knight. We're scrimming against Adfinum. You know, Thug and all them? The guys that got second?
Yep.
Weehaw is getting bodied so hard, DK versus Timber mid. Like, I'm not exaggerating this. Doug had a 9.5-minute Bloodstone, and me and Bull were watching the game and we're pinging, and Weehaw has a Stout Shield, a Magic Stick, and 2 TPs.
Okay.
Can you imagine that difference in farm? A Bloodstone versus a Stout Shield. He was so tilted. He died so many times, and
I'm waiting for the happy ending. Like, is there a fairy tale to this?
That was the story. That was one of the most brutal games I've seen.
Okay, so no happy ending, just death, sorrow, and okay, we all feel miserable now. Jabs will die to solo up on the top. I was waiting for and then he managed to get a kill because the hero is so.
Oh, I will say we won that game. Despite that crazy deficit. But it was just so funny. Like, Weehaw just kept pinging his single TP.
Just reminding everybody that this is all he's got.
Yeah, he's like, guys, please, I really don't want to play this game out.
Can you throw? No, I'm sorry, we're going to win this. That's perseverance. You learn never to tap out, never to GG. This is why we don't have concede in public games.
Exactly, because, I mean, if I were him, I really wouldn't want to play that game either.
If you want to lose that game, if you want to get out of that game, then you got to abandon and take everything that comes with it.
Yes, but that's why you don't just like call it in situations even when you have disadvantageous lanes. Is the moral of the story.
Speaking of a fun lane, seems like a very hard lane for Pasha trying to do anything against Moon. Just reactive armor charges up, and Pasha, like even an early Timber Chain build, is very different to what we saw Ice do, where he went Whirling Death. So he's trying to close the distance on Pasha and do as much damage as possible, while Ramses, Burrow Strike up on top, Ninja Boogie's there to help out. Still got Rage and an unleveled ability for Ramses, seeing what he needs. As VP slightly changed their lanes up too, so it's Witch Doctor and the Puck that run this bottom lane. But Moon doesn't really seem to care that much. Meanwhile, this top lane just keeps so much pressure on. Like Ramses being enfeebled, so he's negative 30 on the damage. Oh, trouble for Moon. Maledict will pop him. Tough man scenario?
Do you mean strongman?
Strongman. The other one.
I like that, Toby.
Tough man.
You remembered for me. Tough man, it all works. The entire point is that you think you're invincible because, well, it especially applies to Timbersaw, I think. Because every Timbersaw player thinks they are unkillable, Toby.
Yep.
They're like, ah, well, my HP regen will eventually kick in.
Yeah. And then I realized, oh wait, they have burst magical damage. That's the Timbersaw's one and only weakness when I don't have reactive armor charges giving me my regen.
My weakness. Magic.
Oh. He at least tries to harass Pasha out, so Pasha's having to do it tough. At least getting 1 charges. But he's down to 1 tango for consumables, so this is definitely not his dream. Top lane, looks like more fun for Ice. Maledicted up, trying to taunt as he runs away from Ramses, but he knows he's dead. 6-1 charges as well as the Salve. He'll burn the 1 charges, and now the Salve for the extra tick. Solo comes underneath the tower, the clap from Ice. He's gonna kill off Solo! He even gets the Drunken Brawler attack in to secure it at the end. Oh, that's gonna piss him off. Moon tries to Timber Chain away and snared up. Control for the moment. Jabs in the neighborhood. Pasha and Roger, they don't want to dive this. Even with the creep wave, they may consider it. But by doing so, if Jabs can get a Burrow Strike off, he'll have a chance. Okay, he won't. He's ensnared up himself. Burrow Strike's down and away towards the Tier 1 tower. Away from Roger.
Yeah, they're going to reset that a little bit, but man, well done by Ice. Baits him into the tree line.
What did you say? A man that can just get things done on impossible situations. Ice in a nutshell.
He's almost level 5 in a very tough lane. Even picks up a kill. He's got 25 CS.
He's got more CS than the PL has in mid.
Dude, that's kind of just how.
Bottom lane again. Goodbye strong man, tough man, whatever the. Moon, back to the Tier 1 tower.
You sure about that? He's got raindrops, dude.
Yeah, actually, he's blocking a lot of it. He's not going to salve. The 1 charges are going to be enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
The raindrops.
Magic is my weakness. Raindrops are my friend.
Wow, he really outthought them.
I spent money on a legitimate item in the game.
Wild. Very nice, though. Much better laning start for Mineski. Although that was... It is impossible to not have a better laning start.
It's looking good for him. Ramses is still like, this is not his dream up on the top lane. Like, this is no one's dream. Like, Ice now able to go one-on-one. He dragged both supports. Like, it's not just the fact that Timber survives on the bottom lane. It's the fact that you brought down both Roger as well as Solo to do something about this. Now Solo commits Maledict. There's no point throwing cars because Jab's just going to get away to safety. Mushi's having a pretty damn good time in the mid as well. Yeah, no one's got a little bit more CS up his sleeve, but it's a decent lane start for every single player on Mineski, which has to be the scarier thing. Like, this allows Mineski just to have these fantastic fights. Maybe Moon dies again. Timber Chain's down. Raindrops can't protect him from all of this damage, no matter how much work he tries to do. Timber Chain away. There goes the bomb. That's 2 points up at the Maledict.
Yeah, that's going to be one way to deal with them, but at the same time, not a very significant lead on the side of Virtus.pro.
Yep.
Not that big at all, and that's on the heels of their Brewmaster doing so well.
He's got a primal split. Ramsey just rage TPs out. Exactly the right thing to do.
He was very fast on that, but at the same time, the Brew is still getting quite a lot. A much more successful game for Ice as in mid. Mushi gonna get stunned up. Shouldn't lead to anything though.
He's got 16 wand charges, and Breathe Fire is already committed by no one. Not enough mana for it. I just love this from Ice. Like we talked about it before, where Mineski's draft might be a little bit more unpredictable, but Ice, what he's going to do every time on his off lane is so predictable. Add pressure towards the safe lane, and when the supports move off, and then damage into the tier 1 tower. Forces Lifestealer to come back, but this tower's already down to 250 HP. The rest of the heroes looking for another kill. Moon, this time he's able to Timber Chain himself away. Ninja Boogie, a quick Nightmare onto Solo. As Paralyzing Cask is being a problem, but Jabs, he'll come in 10. This Cask is a real problem, but it won't help him. Ninja Boogie already has the ability to get that Brain Sap off and find the kill. Top tower goes the way of Mineski. Trouble still for SK, tries to hide inside the Sandstorm, won't happen, but Roger maybe committed a little bit too deep. The Chakram slows him down just enough for Ninja Boogie to follow up with his attack into the Brain Sap. Roger
misses.
One charges, issues. And Roger is away. Meanwhile, up on top, Ice. He had a lot of pressure, but Solo's quick movement in came into the shrine, and now they get a rebuttal kill up on top.
Yeah, that was so awkward. Moon, rare miss, completely whiffs on that Timber Chain, and you now see Lifestealer gonna load up the Radiance.
So we did actually go that. We're having a small debated battle, like Battle Fury over Maelstrom, over Radiance.
Oh yeah, you wanted to know more about that because
yeah,
I think that especially with Lifestealer, you hit this like timing where if you get the Radiance, you can hop in Ancients, and it's just really annoying for most people to deal with.
Yep.
Oliver, I think on Penta, really likes this build. Like it's one of the more common ones that he goes for. And if you get the Radiance fast enough, it's really annoying for the PL to deal with because you won't get an NKB. Dude, this is Strongman Syndrome. You're like, well, nobody can come and gank me, says man who got ganked.
Unless I can kill Roger. His regeneration is still quite good, and then the Timber Chain down. It's the 20 points in reactive armor, and the Malik doesn't pop him. He doesn't die. Ice and Ninja Boogie are waiting on the side, probably for Roger and Solo to move around the side, as Ice taunts his way around the back of the tower. He's got Primal Split. He wants one of these, and here comes Moon back into the fight with a Chakram on Solo. There's no way for him to really get away from this. The Spirit up is keeping the puck underneath the tier 2 tower. Okay, well, maybe Strongman sometimes is Strongman.
That's great.
He ate his spinach today.
That was... They did not expect him to live in that situation. That's phenomenal.
God, I stopped taunting him. Underneath the tower, you know VP will fight you and potentially win. Here goes your Cask. Double TPs are coming in. You taunt, you play with the beats. They're looking for the kill on Ice. The orb well off target. The Nightmare, he doesn't have Dream Call. It was on cooldown for another 8 seconds when that fight was initiated. So Mineski can just back up. And Virtus.pro, that's a heavy rotation in for this. Now Jabs can try and hold on the top lane. No one triggers Dragon Form to attack in towards the mid. But Ninja Boogie's already started his rotation into this mid lane too.
Yeah, they're probably still going to lose this tower though. It's already quite low.
It's enfeeble. Make it difficult to get the last hit. Alright, no, they'll get it.
He still has the corrosive.
No. It's looking quite nice for VP as far as the net worth goes for their cause. They hold... Well, okay, it's bouncing back and forth, but they kind of hold the top 3 for him until Mineski can really start fighting, which is what they try and do. Fiend's Grip onto that mid lane, perfect control onto the DK, and no one, still a lot of life up his sleeve, thanks to 3 points up in Dragon Blood, and the one charge just tries to cut through the tree line, up and down, stay in the fog of war, wrap around the clap from Ice. We'll get him. No shenanigans this time for no one to escape, but looks like Pasha and Solo want to turn this into aggression. This time they'll have Dream Call, and they're coming under the cover of smoke towards Moon. 20 reactive armor charges up, starts his chain away. The Cask is well far away. They'll have to commit more. Where's the support is coming in? Ice as well as Ninja Boogie are coming in from the side. They'll turn around into Pasha, slow him down with the Drunken Haze, not in range for the clap. 3-man Dream Call, he'll dodge it with a phase shift. A quick orb up to the other side of the tree line. Moon wants to go, but they'll have to wait out the Dream Call before they can fight. And VP... just not finding that initiation they really want on bottom lane. It goes begging once more.
I think this is such an awkward position right now because it's not easy for VP to kill any of the cores on the side of Mineski. Like, ganking a PL, a Timbersaw, or a Brewmaster feels very fruitless.
Yeah. And even the top lane, like Jabs is soaking up a lot of experience up on top. Like both Jabs and Roger are happy to do this. But it's the caustic finale points. Okay, Pasha will come over, dust up, but Jabs already burrow strikes away to safety. Too many escape mechanisms available for Mineski. And now they go bottom. Nice Dragon Tail stun, cancelling the jump away with a Timber Chain. So Moon will go down. The Maledict points will guarantee it. But the trade-off is the mid tower.
They got mad at that one. So like the last time you survived, we lost heroes for this.
Yep.
This will not stand. But Ice, even if they were to defend this, he does have the ultimate available, so this is not a winnable fight.
They do not want to fight this. Actually, they may want to. The DD's wearing off for Mushi now, so the Burrow Strike, it goes straight through Solo. Again, they don't want to fight Jack. Solo just walked in. He didn't have anyone else from his team there.
That was not the fight that they wanted to take, Toby.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe a TP to arrive. Both Ramses as well as no one had it available. No one now burns his to come back to defend the tier 2 tower. And maybe with the help, Roger, in through the trees. Naga, oh, they can ensnare him up. There's no doppelganger for 4 seconds, but the 17 one charges. They have to keep the stuns going. Jabs creates a space. Mushi with the one charges and the doppelganger up on top of the hill. There's the Nightmare onto the Naga, and Ninja Boogie, okay, they'll cancel his TP out with the Dream Coil. The Observer Ward saw all, while Mushi, now maledicted up, tries to run away once more. 4 one-shots won't help me. Phantom rushes towards the cream. It gives him the space and the life to survive. The plays, the minds, the experience of Mushi.
Very well done.
Ice might be in trouble, but he's still got Brewmaster split. And he'll try and turn onto the Witch Doctor. Stunned up for a while. Send the puck up and towards the air. Solo, very low. Here comes another stun. Throws down the Sentry Ward. And how quick can they do it? Solo so low on life. Tries to juke up and down. The Brewmaster able to get the kill, but the Earth Brewling's well behind. Caught between Pasha and Roger. 4 heroes remaining ones. He'll take the Bounty Rune, and he taunts underneath all 4 heroes. Ice will die for his Brewmaster split. A 1-for-1 trade-off. But again, while this happens and Ice or a hero on the bottom lane dies, pressure is applied to another tower, and that's top. Down to half-life. 2.
I mean,
soon.
That's such an awkward position to be in. They can't really protect Solo, but same point kind of still stands.
Pasha? He's
like Pasha
Dream Coil? He wants to.
Waiting. He needs more heroes here, though.
They have the Observe Wards. They see Nagasaran arrive, so Nightmare out quickly.
They want more.
Jabugi got that off. The Dream Caller catches both Moon as well as Jabs. They'll both take the stuns. And Moon, he needs a treat, and he's got one. Well, West takes the stun himself. 17 one charges available, but he doesn't have a lot of... Oh, they stun him! No one arrives with the Dragon Tail stun to stop the Timber Chain up the hill. But again, here comes the push into another lane. PL's all over it.
Still, that was very well done by VP with the rotation. Pasha with the invis sets up for all of that. So you see right here.
Come back to Ninja Boogie dying, and this is the Mushi. Phantom Rush level 4 to the Hellbear. Quick TP out, not even taking time for the attack. And they just can't do the damage. Ramsey's even desperately trying to get it out of the infestation damage.
Awkward position right now still to be in because the PL continues to farm, but at the same time, Virtus.pro, I don't think any other cores feel particularly bad about this game. This is such an odd one for me because it feels as though both sets of cores don't really have the easiest way to die if you compare the heroes, but at the same time, like, this Timbersaw, like, the knock on this hero for me has always been the fact that you start off really well and you pump a lot of net worth into this hero, and then you get a little bit too over-aggressive pushing into lanes, and heroes come and 4-man gank you, take all your net worth away and your levels, which is what's happened this game. This is not an Ice Timbersaw where... in the game that Ice played, he was so careful at all times. He respected the fact that if they 5-man him, he will die. That was the complexity game, of course.
Yeah, but this is a different player. This is Moon. Very different skill build as well. The item build changes up because of the fact that he hasn't had that momentum. And items are starting to roll in. Pasha with the Infest, jump in, double silence, Dream Coil, Phantom Lancer here, fresh Battle Fury for a fresh death. Solo wants to keep fighting this one up. Moon, well, he's tanking it. He likes the fact that it's physical, wants to go for a little bit more. Walk up the hill, bring it on. He may even be able to kill off Solo if that Chakram on the way back was able to connect. Another quick silence, not a lot of mana here for Moon. Has 17 one charges still to play with. Maledict now finally comes out. But nothing more will come of it. They don't want to force this too hard. No one's still trying to farm up a camp underneath The Ancient can't stack underneath Observer wards. This will now be blocked up by the Sentry ward. And a little bit of leech from Ninja Boogie.
Yeah. No one is so farmed right now, though. The majority of the net worth difference comes in the form of the supports. You've got 500 net worth in the Bane above the Witch Doctor. You've got even more than that in the difference between the 4 positions and the Sand King. But when it comes to the cores, I think everyone on VP are very happy with this distribution of farm, as Ramsey's just going to TP out. Now he's got the fully completed Radiance, and now I think this is go time for VP. Take as many fights as you can.
Oh, but Mineski are already on it.
Really fallen off.
So VP are smoking up, moving down mid lane, but so are Mineski. Moon, here they'll use him as bait. There's your Burrow Strike. They want to kill Jabs off before Song of the Siren could do anything. Can he actually get out of this one? Roger, the dead nice down, Roger! He'll finally take a fall. The Dream Call is pretty good. They Nightmare to try and avoid some of that Maldic damage onto Jabs. Not enough life to survive for both Solo and Jabs, who will end up falling. A 2-for-1 trade-off with the aggression. Mushi is pushing very quickly up on that top with the fresh Battle Fury. He cleans up the waves, adds pressure to the tier 2 tower. And now VP, how do you respond when you've only got 3 heroes on the map?
I think if you're VP, you have to slow down the pace, try to relax. You can't afford to lose your supports and take any fights or anything like that. They've represented that in the straight up fights they can take, like the 5-on-5, it's no problem for them, even with the Bruce split. They just have to be a little bit careful. Play around the fact that you know that the Timbersaw is getting over-aggressive a little bit too often. Like, Roger wasn't able to pop his Song. I don't think I've seen a Song this game.
I haven't either. I think in that position too, like if he popped his Song, like what exactly was he going to achieve? Like, support could arrive. Ice is going down on bottom lane. Starts his TP out. Won't be able to. The last Paw Swipe of Ramses will reach. While up on top, no one initiates on towards Moon. There is a lot of support there with the Instare. He starts his TP out. And Song of the Siren. Well, there you go. It just got used. And Moon, they just keep the stuns going. And he'll end up ticking out. A lot of damage to make it so.
Yeah. But Moon is... I mean, we keep talking about it. Like, he is not respecting the fact that they can kill him so easily. And... he can't afford to die like this. This is a hero that's level 13. He's not under-leveled at all. So every time they go to kill him, it's worth the investment, Toby.
TP support's coming in towards this top lane here. The epicenter, they Burrow Strike in. They want the Naga Siren down, not claim him as well. Mushi once more with that Battle Fury, turning his attention towards Solo. Solo, a couple of Quan charges, wants to deny himself up to the status. It will not happen. Mushi will claim it, while Ramses was able to take the tower in the meantime. Down on bottom lane, sitting with Pasha, with Blink Dream Call ready to go.
They once again lose their both supports, but core still relatively untouched. And
do you like this idea from Mushi where it delays the game out, having a Battle Fury now building into, well, what is he's got the rest of the Yasha coming out in the courier. So potential, well, banter or whatever.
So I've been asking pros about it, the build, because I was really curious, like myself. I didn't know how to feel about it because I'm not a Phantom Lancer player, and the overwhelming majority seem to dislike the build heavily now. Just because it feels like it continuously delays your items, but hold that thought, the first 5-on-5 fight.
Oh, the Burrow Strike! It actually caught out Pasha. If they can Fiend Strip, hold him there with Ninja Boogie before he can get the Dream Call, or silence off the Dream Call will come, but it's all a little bit too late. They'll take the stuns as the Brewlings run forward. Jabs ready to fight once more. He's got Blink Burrow Strike, waiting for the right target, and he found one. It's the DK right in front of Ninja Boogie. Breathe Fire will do the work. Solo far east, still controlled up by Ice as he'll send the Lifestealer up and towards the air and blink away to safety, allowing Mushi to create more Mushis. And the tier 2 tower does fall. VP. This time it's a core to add to the support death. But a lot of abilities down for Mineski.
Still well worth it for Mineski. They represent that they can still win this team fight. And that was just such an awkward timing. If the puck doesn't get stunned in that exact timing, Jabs was so quick on the uptick.
Yep.
Otherwise, you get a 2-man, 3-man silence into Coil.
Yep.
And that's the kind of fight that Virtus.pro will happily take at that point.
And they chained the control perfectly. Like, it was the Burrow Strike and then the Fiend's Grip was right after. They made sure there was no way to break them free. And maybe that's also the downside about Virtus.pro, right? Unless you're going to commit Song of the Siren at the beginning, which wasn't available. Like, you can't technically stop the Fiend's Grip unless a Cask or Dragon Tail can reach him. Just nothing more to work with. And Ramses, for all the Radiance effect that was there, it didn't feel that strong as VP just was split in two. for their fights.
I mean, it didn't happen, or it didn't help that their puck just immediately got blown up.
Yeah.
And that's a large form of the control. I think if the puck survives there and gets more than just like the hasty abilities off, then it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think he dream called anything other than the illusions. At that point, he was just like, I need to get something off before I just get straight up blown up.
Well, Mineski remain happy. They will continue to use Moon as bait. Hilariously enough, this can work for them in the mid-game. Hey, Moon's always out of position. We keep finding kills on him, and then eventually VP will jump him, and life won't be great for him anymore. Because Mushi is going to go for the Manta style on the back of the Battle Fury, and his farm is skyrocketing. He's about to get more farm than the DK has, and he's the top net worth on the field at the moment. No one on Ramses, speak of the DK, going inside the Roche pit. This is a Radiant scan to the west. They're expecting a gank to come to the top. Nothing flags there, however. Their Observer Ward saw the movement from the Ancient, so now they probably put 1-on-1 together and made 2 jabs. They go for the Burrow Strike inside the pit. A quick blink away. They catch Solo. He Burrow Strike through just for the sake of it, and they caught it all out. And the Brewlings, they're being stunned up. Song on the Siren, they try and split this fight into 2. They're just catching Mushi on the back lines, plus the Burrow Strike jabs coming back in range of the Song on the Siren. Not so sure if it's actually working to help or a hindrance. The stuns are still out, but the Brewlings, they can't get the last attacks in. Jabs scuttling himself away. Pasha can't even reach him with the illusionary orb. He's already dead. That's the reason why no one wants a TP out. The damage is high, but not high enough. The DK back to base to safety. But now Roshan is exposed, and Mineski will be able to claim it. Nothing from VP really left to fight, or do they? They're coming back over. Ramses has Infest off cooldown, but the Observer Ward up the hill. They nightmare up the puck. Delivery system is not online. Solo needs vision for the paralyzing cast plus Death Ward. He'll jump over. Ice out to fight. Now that cast doing work. Ice and Jabuki locked together. The Aegis Immortal. It was snatched by Mushi. Pasha was able to take the kill. Hides inside the phase shift. So with a snatched out Aegis, he'll blink up all the way. Mushi's looking for him. He's gone west. There's no vision. Actually, there's vision towards the north, so they know he's gone south. The Ramses looking to find Mushi. Doppelganger off cooldown in half a second. He needs to jump away, but the silence is holding him. He's down and away. The chain won't work, however. The trees are broken. They'll shrine up quickly. They want to come back into this fight. Moon will be here, but here comes the epicenter from jabs all over him. No one wants to keep fighting. They're underneath the chakram. So much damage. Which one's the real Mushi? They can't work it out. Ramses, maybe he's actually cottoned onto it. Mushi, now the last one left. Dragon tailed up. He'll break the Aegis to the Immortal. Ready to fight once more as VP are in full retreat. Jams, no Blink Dagger. Burrow Strike is there. He'll connect into Roger. Ramses, let him be. Let him die. Moonchain's a long way forward, but no more matter fight. That'll be all she wrote for this one.
Very well done, as, I mean, they just got thoroughly outplayed in that area. No one had to disengage after he used his BKB, largely for nothing. They weren't able to really ever get on top of the Phantom Lancer. And Mineski have done such a good job of controlling up this puck. Really, the main disable that they have for him is the Sand King stun, and Jabs has landed it every single time. That's why we see the puck queue up this Lincoln Sphere. Oftentimes, we don't see him go for such a defensive item build, as we're going to see this once again.
This is the jump in to try and... It's not even the steal Aegis Immortal time. This is when Mineski comes out to engage outside the pit, and then Roshan dies to the illusionary orb flying in. I just love this. It's almost trinity of like the triangle of fights. Everyone just takes their one-on-one-on-one.
Yeah, but it was just so impossible for VP to keep up in that engagement. As soon as Mushi was able to get that Aegis, it was too heavy of a commitment to take back that fight. And now, for what feels like first time in a while, they do take the overall game gold lead.
Yeah, only just though. Like even after that fight, like that fight happened in that small little, I almost said like little V shape in the graph. So just in the last couple of minutes, but the net worth doesn't really swing that much. It swings up a little bit more, just because VP spent a lot of time in retreat, and Mineski going to keep the pressure on. Yeah. They smoke up. They got Epicenter available. Manta Style's up and running too.
This is not like the Ice Timbersaw game where they can just sit back.
Oh, goodbye, Solo.
Hey, you never know. He might be able to...
Yeah. How's it going, Mr. Optimist?
Maybe everyone on Mineski accidentally DCs right there, and he casually walks away to the left.
Pasha was just sitting there watching. It's like, I can dream, Kyle, but it's a witch doctor. I think this is only fair, though, after what happened to Mineski switch Doctor in Game 1. He even lost, he put down the Observer Ward and instantly got killed, and then lost the Observer Ward, so even the mission was for nothing. Like, it's okay if you die for a purpose. Roger's hoping for a bit of a fight. Dragon Tail stun out on mid. Moon, they're building up his charges. There goes his defensive Yule Scepter. Timber Chain needs to get away from this one. Cuts the tree line. Almost gets up the hill, and now in comes Brewmaster. In for the double stun. Moon will still tick out. Now the Maldic damage is already too much, but the Epicenter will ensure a rebuttal. Actually, no! The 20 reactive armor charges gave Moon enough life to survive, but will it be enough for the rest of his team? Rams gets the double kill. They can turn their attention towards who? The Brewmaster? That's what we're looking for. PL, backlines. Mushi starts his TP. Where's the stun? Oh! What?
They are spamming. That just happened. No one is in pretty big disbelief, but the animation, it looked like it just barely didn't catch him.
Yeah, here's a clip, boy. Show that one again at about 1/5 the pace, please, Mr. Highlight Man. I'd love to see that one in slow motion.
Oh, they're so tilted after that. they're chow wheeling still.
Was he even stunned when he reached the top lane? It looked like he was straight back into the farm.
It's like 30 seconds after that happened, they're still chow wheeling. You know they're not happy about that.
It was enough when just trying to gank the Timbersaw in the bottom lane, and now that happened.
Still a very even game this time around with no Brood. No cheese, what to speak of. Mineski showing their mettle.
Like, you're watching the gold advantage just bouncing from left to right. Like, it's only a couple of bucks, the difference. Yeah, okay, here we go. We can watch this one again. So, Mushi, doppelgangers down the hill. Doesn't move either of them, starts the TP, and here comes no one. And the Dragon Tail stun. Oh.
Did he try to go for the attack first? Is that what slowed that down?
I'm not certain, but the stun, like, it was definitely in air at the time.
That would have been a kill. That would have been massive for VP. Another core kill, because they're now starting to run a little bit low on BKB charges as jabs. They find Solo, but...
Yeah, who's really finding who here? Blink Dagger was on cooldown. They just keep force-staffing him up, but Ramsey's just there to wait. Goodbye. Goodbye, jabs. Ninja Boogie and Moon already begin their TPs. Woo. That's half a second too late from Roger.
Yeah. Feels though we haven't really felt the impact of this Naga too much. Roger, especially in the last game when he was a Sand King as well, had quite the rough game, but...
Well, it seems like one of those heroes, like, it's not like he got a disruptor to pair with, like a Song of the Siren into Wallstorm. Like, that doesn't happen. No one stalking Ice, Ice, Ice. Starts the TP out. He'll end up cancelling that. More support is TPing over towards the Shrine. It's both Naga plus the lifesteal they'll need. Both Pashas coming up as well, just walking his way. Thanks to the spill damage, they know all they need is all three spirits. Yeah, he's just dead.
1, 2, 3. Ice, Ice, Ice just used the invis a little bit too late.
But there's also 4 heroes that rotated towards top. This will allow Mushi even more space, and he's now like that tier 2 tower and this creep wave away from having a heart. Mushi is becoming a full-on beast. And like, how do you deal with that? Okay, even the Diakuri gets killed with a Hyperstone on it.
Man, every time Virtus.pro gets something, they just lose something almost immediately in return.
Ramses is coming out for the kill, looking for Mushi. Really impossible to kill to get. Like, both Doppelganger plus the Mantis style and now the full heart makes it practically impossible. Not to mention their support around the neighborhood from Timber as well as Bane. And Bane, no, Solo, no, not like this. Chakram, Timber Chain, and pull the Chakram back again, and down he goes. Oh, Pasha, phase shifts up, catches out the Dream Call. Quick silence is out, but the Fiend's Grip. There's nowhere for the puck to go. Shut down. No buyback for 70 seconds, and you've already got jabs hunting the Naga Siren. A quick burrow strike through. Here comes a Timber Chaining Timbersaw to the front lines, and Mushi even jumps to the tier 2 tower just to close the distance a little bit faster and pick up that double kill. So just bought a fresh heart, already has another 860 gold. And they can push the momentum down the mid lane for the tier 2 tower with no rebuttal.
Interestingly enough, by the way, no one decides to go for the 150 GPM talent. I think it was Fogged and Purge that were kind of having a conversation on which they would rather prefer, and Fogged was making the argument that you almost always take the Dragon Blood because of the additional 12 armor and 10 HP regen that you get. You just double up like that, but decides not to go for it. I think he understands maybe that he has to scale a little bit more in this game because Mushi is pretty out of control at this point.
If he feels massively strapped for cash, like right now there's nowhere safe to really move around on the map. So he needs to be more efficient, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Like, he needs to get really 6-slotted to have impact in this game right now. The rest of the heroes from Mineski are starting to catch up a little bit, like the Timbersaw and the Brewmaster and the Puck with such a good start to the game. Do they have
enough? So, Mushi's already running away. He's actually approaching the MKB. Ramsey's Radiance is going to be very useless at that point. And I'm still waiting for Mineski to realize that Roshan's alive. Like, he shouldn't be that difficult with the changes the way illusions work on Roshan. Like Mushi's not terrible attacking him anymore.
DK has the full Mjolnir now. This is going to be his way to deal with the Phantom Lancer. Now they have two of the ways that you talked about, Toby.
Yep.
They've got a Mjolnir and a Radiance. Who's breaking the line and getting a Battle Fury? I click Puck. No.
Puck is on the way to an Aghanim Scepter right now.
Could have fooled me.
Do you remember the old days in Warcraft 3 where everyone was just buying Battle Furies because the regeneration and damage amp was actually so good they're buying it on range heroes? But
I remember that.
This would have been back though in like 2008, I think.
That was Pycat.
That was Pycat?
Yeah, that was Pycat that did it on Wind Ranger. You know, I asked him about that years later, because back when I was like a shitter, we used to think that whatever pros did, you would do as well, right?
Uh-huh.
And so we were trying to rationalize it, just like, oh, it's a lot of damage, you know, for cost, and it's a lot of regen. And years later, when I got to know Pycat, I said, hey, what was with that build? And he said, I just did it to mess with people. We attributed so many of these, like, theories.
You gotta go now. Cuts his way through, tries to come in close. They've already got the Aegis Immortal onto no one, and they're doing so much damage to Moon. The Nightmare will protect him. They need more PLs. The confusion is there from the Brewmaster split. It's keeping the backline supports of VP under control, and the Burrow Strike. It caught both Lifestealer as well as no one. They still need more of these PL illusions to work. Doesn't happen with the splash damage of no one, as Bailey the first one to die. Well, unless we're gonna count Roshan, they're still on the run. Mushi, Doppelganger, tries to hide underneath this tier 2 tower. Ramses just keeps diving with Pasha. Mushi can break free. They really want him under the tier 3 towers. Remember, you have a team that wants to fight with you. Ramses, they finally get the kill. But back to the front lines. Here goes your Aegis Immortal. No one's back to fight. A quick stun to Ice jabs, bringing him the epicenter.
He needs to do a lot here.
Strike as well, combining with Moon. The damage is there, but not enough. They're all dead for Mineski. Tribute to LDI salute. 2 left for Mineski to survive, as Brewmaster and SK can potentially buy back the VP. That's a huge fight for them.
They were so close to being able to turn that fight. No one had an armlet toggle at the last second. Jabs with such a high ground epicenter, and that chase into the base. They barely catch that Phantom Lancer. He was half a second away from being able to juxtapose out of there.
The Bloodstone's going to be in a big advantage here for Timbersaw, already back to the world of living. How many do they buy back to defend this lane of Rax? Chakram will slow things down.
You got to decide
Moon,
now.
Be careful. You don't have any reactive armor charges. They can still burst you through. That's why the magical damage boost is there. Moon, they stunned him. Mid-Timber Chain, defensive Yule Scepter. They're still not buying back. They're holding, but the Dream Call is keeping Moon there. 20 reactive armor charges, but the Fiend's Grip. DK can't attack. Moon jumps away. No one will die. They still even claim the Rax. VP are in retreat. They take the tier 3 tower. Moon wants more, but they hold the line with no buybacks from Mineski.
Yes, that was a little bit greedy, but the fact that they were able to hold that without having to commit any of the buybacks makes that so essential. It limits the damage, because if you force the buyback there and you don't get a lot of kills, then all of a sudden VP, they turn that half a K gold lead into something like 6, 7K.
Yep.
And it turns into a complete disaster. Tribute to Toby. But instead, it's relatively mitigated. It's only 4,000 gold. That's still reasonable. This is winnable territory. But for Mineski,
they coming mid to force the buyback? Is this actually Mineski just putting the pedal to the metal?
Yeah, I like this move. Be very aggressive. try to take things back. They even kill Solo, who immediately buys back.
So huge. So at least they get one buyback out from this. Can they bring down the tier 3 tower? Brewmaster split is up. Ninja Boogie doesn't have the Fiend's Grip, so they won't have his control against that DK, who still has not fought back. Here comes Mushi to the front lines, wants to create more of himself, harassing out Solo. There's more and more Mushis being created. They're going to have to start dealing with this, but Ramses commits the rage, the paralyzing cask. Moon as well as Ninja Boogie basically very closely, suspectly holding hands in the trees. The tower drops low, DK's about to respawn, and Mineski are bailing out before VP have any chance to pick him off.
I think this is the right play. You don't overstay your welcome. You just kind of made things even-ish again. Like, look at the gold swing again. It's back up to just 1K. And that is, it comes down to the decision first not to buy back. They're very patient about that. And then their decision to run down mid, they get the kill on Solo, they force the buyback, they do some economic damage. Very well done by Mineski. That is discipline. Because it very well could have just been, oh, the Timber Saw dies again, we have to force the buyback after the fact, we're going to lose racks no matter what. Instead, now it's a position where things are precarious again.
To be honest, I was waiting for VP to try and push it. We've talked about it a lot of times, but I was waiting for Roger to burn the Song of the Siren and try and catch somebody out before they could retreat. And like force Mineski into some kind of position to hold around there.
Yeah, Pasha though, he's got a surprise waiting for somebody here.
Oh, the jump in, they find him on bottom.
They're not going to be able to kill him.
The kill, the Brewmaster split's already out. The Song of the Siren is keeping Moon as well as Jabs under control in the back lines. The Brewlings are falling like flies, but there's still one left. They haven't got it yet, and now the kill is onto the Naga. They'll move over to Solo. They still didn't even kill off Ice. That was the primary point of the distraction. 2 heroes down for almost a minute. Now Ramses, the stun is out. It's onto Moon. Support's coming in quickly from Mineski, but Ice
they're so
will fall.
strong.
Timber will fall. No one in Ramses. Absolute beast on the front line. Ninja Boogie in the trees. That is an optimistic TP. 2 heroes down. Mushi, he must survive this. Pasha jumps out to him. The courier. No fortification available for it. He'll end up going down too. 2 heroes to hold the lines. Brewmaster has buyback, but he's really not that strong. So Mushi has to do work. He's still got the heart. He's still difficult to kill. VP, they'll get the buyback out. Here comes your epicenter. Jabs once more with Ice. His clap is still not enough, and now the silence is onto Ice with the double rift as well as hit. They'll bring them all down. The buyback has to come out. That indeed just happened. Buyback PL if you want to hold on to anything. Spam some illusions. Either that or you just ask the question, is this game over? They're fighting the backdoor regeneration. No one's slowing them down. The creep wave's about to arrive. Timber is back to the world of the living, and VP one more attack to the range.
No one, he's in this. They're gonna go for it again.
He jumps in, Mushi. He can't die. He can't die. He's actually, Willie. No, there's too many. They haven't killed him yet. Mushi's on 30 HP. Finally, he'll go down. That's a huge dive back. VP can now go for the second lane of racks.
Oh,
and this is beyond a disaster.
111 seconds down. They're going to lose another.
GG, it's done, it's done, it's done. There's nothing, they can't stop it. They got no cause, they got nothing. GG is the call. VP will 2-0 Mineski. After what was a back and forth tussle, VP have done it in a clean sweep.
I cannot believe that the game ended like that. The tri-core from VP, you see.
Is that a flick of confidence?
That was the finger gun to the camera. I think the support duo was like, okay, we got carried a little bit there.
But if we're really doing tribute, he's got to give PieCat. He's the master of the finger to the camera.
That was a wild game. If you see, okay, I don't think they are able to show it again, but the XP looks like the biggest roller coaster ever. The net worth is in a similar position. Mineski, they did so many things right. Yep. Then the fight at bottom, they just overextend a little bit. They were split up. They were focused on the supports. Nobody from on the side of Virtus.pro, they saved the BKB on the Dragon Knight for the last second for the real engagement. And when that happened and the Bruce Lee was done, they just got overwhelmed. The buyback decisions, they didn't even layer that. Mushi goes for the buyback. I thought they were just going to give up 2 sets of racks because there was still the tier 2 tower up at top. I said, okay, whatever, you lose 2 sets of racks. That's what you pay for your mistake. Then you'll be able to reset the fight. That's not the case at all. I'm getting a little bit too amped. We should still leave some stuff for the panel to talk about.
That's the best way. Hype yourself up at the very end of the day because that was the last game, but still fantastic performance from Virtus.pro. 2-0. They get to advance themselves in the bracket because the guys who are itching to break it down, of course, are our panel.
Vodafone presents the post-match.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, a final flourish from Virtus.pro as they march on to the top 6, guaranteed top 6 right now. They'll play off in the upper bracket final, of course, for a place in the semi-finals. So let's wrap things up on the end of the day. We'll talk about this final match, and we'll also wrap things up on a very interesting first day where we've seen 6 series take place at ESL One Katowice. Back with our panel members once more. Fold, Cap, and Has. We'll start with you, Alan. Great performance, really. They had moments in there where you were like, whoa, this is a bit scary. Mineski are playing really well. This could definitely look like a Mineski win. And then just out of nowhere, Virtus.pro just picking off players one after the other.
I think that, especially after the game 1, like, this is the addition of both these teams that we expected to see at this tournament. That's a 40-minute game in which for the first 38 minutes, no one ever led by more than 5K net worth. No one ever led by more than 4 kills. These teams went blow for blow, and I think especially, if you got to get 2-0'd, especially after that first game, 5th pick Brood, I think as Mineski, you walk away from the series feeling relatively good.
I thought they played super well this game. After the laning phase, sure, it wasn't a big advantage or anything, but I was like, this puck got so much. Pasha's going to be able to control the flow of the game quite heavily because of the start, and Mineski, they were actually just non-stop battling. I'm looking at the net worth later on in the game, and I'm like, this Bane has 3K net worth, and I actually felt like Ninja Boogie, he was getting the clutch sleeps during, as the silences would come out to save his timbers, the way he zoned the team when they were doing Roche after the fight. He was actually doing everything right in this Bane, getting multiple high duration Fiends Group versus this team too. I was really impressed with Mineski this game around, but VP just that slight edge above, and I think their itemization made that game really hard for Mineski.
Even Cat, when they got a little bit greedy at times, you just sort of worried for them a bit, didn't you? Like, oh, what are you doing? No, get out of there, get out of there. And eventually they did, but that didn't even seem to matter. I mean, even this fight here, we were just kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? And then sliver of health, they survive again. Just great game to watch.
It was the 3 cores. These 3 cores were so strong.
Yeah, VP, I think all their cores were really on point. I love the fact how Mineski played a lot of their early game. They really pushed the limits of all 3 of their cores when it came to the survivability versus the combination coming out from VP. They really made sure that VP had to push 4 heroes just to be able to gank one of the 3, right? Brewmaster, PL, as well as the Timbersaw all have a lot of different ways to be able to survive through a gank like this, and oftentimes they just didn't have enough burst damage, so they had to bring these extra heroes. They create a lot of space on the map, and VP, despite having this really aggressive lineup, were not able to take a whole lot of map control because they were always being funneled in. That was my favorite part about the Mineski lineup. Unfortunately, it just doesn't translate anywhere because of the fact that Timbersaw is just such a horrendously bad hero at scaling into late game now because of Spirit Festival and Silver Edge. Those 2 items just kill the hero that we saw in one of the last team fights. There was a gigantic difference in Timbersaw being in the middle of them, and he was like, I am indestructible, and then all of a sudden he gets hit by Silver Edge and he's dead in 2 seconds.
He's not a hero anymore.
It's like the hero just unfortunately just does not scale well enough for you that I think it is a bit of the downfall for Mineski. If this was a different patch and Timbersaw was a stronger hero, then this could be a Mineski in the upper bracket finals already playing in the playoffs.
A quick word for one player in particular, which is Solo. Just because he died 16 times during that game. Now, I feel like that's a bit too much. And in any game where you die 16, you're kind of like, you're just respawning back into the game. And that's frustration, isn't it? And yet, he's played a vital role in the team as well.
They had 24 of their deaths just between the 2 supports.
It's hard not
I mean, they
to
did
die.
get ruined, didn't they? Those 2 supports just kept picking on them all the time.
As Witch Doctor, it's so hard because your job is to be there, right? Maledict has such crappy range, but it's such an important skill. It's basically like your ultimate in many ways that it's like, okay, gotta run in and throw it down, and then you're in the middle of a team fight as a squishy hero with no escape mechanism. Well, it's just always gonna die.
It's the Milk Award theory, right? It's the idea of if you walk in there and you get that Maledict off on 3 enemy heroes, you did your job, man. I mean, Death Ward's a bonus, but
don't give Jacob credit for that.
It was playing support Venomancer, right?
That
was kind
the
of
Milk Award game. I still remember that.
He gets 1 mention every event, and that's it. No more after that. Let's wrap things up as well with regards to our play faster moment of the day, brought to you by Vodafone. It is the Jab's first blood in this very series for Mineski because it was the fast play of the day.
And it was clutch too.
And there it is.
Right? These are the body blocks.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this was.
This one, yeah.
The battle begins.
And Maledict.
Whoops.
The battle begins and it ends.
You see, look, Roger tries to stun through.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
he's going for the
level 1 burrow strike. He's like, yeah, never mind, it's not happening. I'm dead.
Maledict is just such a strong ability.
Yep.
So annoying for offlaners. You get Maledict, you're like, well, I have to run away now.
Yeah.
So many of these team fights, it makes the difference.
Good though. I'm glad to see some more Witch Doctor. That hero's fun. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm not so sure Solo would agree with you.
Actually,
he definitely had a blast that game.
I think all the 5 positions are really interesting to watch. Disruptor has some complex play. Witch Doctor is like just hard to play when it comes to positioning. And then Rubik is obviously one of the most exciting 5 positions / 4 positions in the game.
Yeah. Bane's fun.
I like Bane.
The hero literally puts you to sleep. How fun can he really be?
No, but fun to play.
Did you see Ninja Boogie's? Did you see Ninja Boogie's sleep plays there? He dodged silence like 4 times.
And
he was very good at zoning in that game.
It is probably one of the most impactful like 5 position ultimates out there.
But it's miserable in pubs. Bane in a pub past like 35 minutes is awful.
No, get level 25. You get plus 7 seconds on Fiend.
It's just very, it's very unfun. It's very unfun for the enemy team. You know, they're like, oh, I have no right-click damage, or oh, I'm asleep for 5 seconds, and all of the heroes can jump on top of me during those 5 seconds.
Making other people miserable is fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's going for the Matumba Man.
Is that the mana? That's the mana burn theory craft of Dota right there.
It is true, right?
Yeah.
Ramsey's probably had the best like Broodmother game. He was probably like,
I tell you what, though. I tell you what, the best 5 is. The most fun.
No, it's not.
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Definitely Windrunner.
It's
definitely Windrunner.
Oh, okay.
Let's check in with the brackets right now and show you where we've come to on day 1. This is Group A. Team Liquid going through effect in the first game, but coming undone against a very informed Vici Gaming. They marched their way through to that upper bracket final and a guaranteed top 6 position. They'll play Virtus.pro in that upper bracket for a place in the semi-finals as they came through the bottom half of the bracket. As you can see, Mineski will drop into the lower bracket and they'll face OG in that lower bracket to stay alive and for a shot at the final place out of Group A. Joining them in the bottom is Optic Gaming. After coming through, they were 1 down to Complexity and they came back in that series to claim the Texan Dota Derby by 2 games to 1. They'll now take on Team Liquid for a place in the lower bracket final. That's Group A.
I am shamelessly cheering for Mineski against OG. I hope they knock OG out and I get to see Liquid move on and face Mineski again.
Yeah, it's a rough day for Complexity. I mean, they're one of those teams in that middle pack where we're kind of like, there's a chance for them here to, make a name for themselves, maybe even get some points out of that DPC and really move themselves up. They're stuck in 14th right now. That's not a place they want to be.
And it's really tough the way the bracket fell for them because you come across the Atlantic, you play 1 game against international competition, and then you end up facing up against a team that you know really well. They know you really well, and it does feel like a step back. They had dominated Optic recently.
All right, let's take a look at Group B and show you how that's panned out today. We haven't had quite so many games in this one. Just the opening matches, all the best of ones are done. That leaves us with Team Secret versus LG tomorrow in the semi-finals of the upper bracket, and Fnatic versus Kinguin. Just to remind you, both of those teams are 1 series away from guaranteeing a top 6 spot here at ESL One Katowice. And wouldn't it be a sweet story for the hometown team of Kinguin to make it through to the Spodek Arena in front of a large crowd? At the bottom bracket, it's Infamous from South America taking on Evil Geniuses. That's one we've seen before. And Na'Vi, their reward for losing in the opening round is to play Newbie. I mean, I don't know.
Poor Na'Vi.
Can that be any worse for a team like that right now who want to break into that top 4-5, but get Newbie this early on? I mean, that's a tough draw, isn't it?
They're going to have to hope that they can do the same thing that Kinguin did and just try to catch Newbie off guard. However, it's not a best of 1.
What we're talking about, I was going to say, what we're talking about here
Newbie
as well, Fogged, is Newbie going out of the tournament without winning any matches.
That's going to be
after winning Genting a few weeks ago. That almost seems unbelievable. It's not going to happen, is it?
I
don't think so.
You know what also could happen? Universe may be sitting in the playoffs watching EG get knocked out. Who's getting kicked, son?
You're so mean. You're so mean. Let's take a look and see what we've got for you tomorrow, because we've got 3 series for you tomorrow, all best of 3s. Our schedule should be on the screen momentarily. We're going to take you, of course, through Group B tomorrow and focus on that one as well. And we'll bring you all of those 3 best of 3s tomorrow as we go through day number 2. Are you had a fun day today?
This was great. It was Genting was a wonderful tournament but it was a little chalky in the group phase, and I'm so thrilled to see some of these Tier 2 so-called teams really rising up and playing great Dota.
No, I hated every minute of it.
Yeah, me too.
I liked it.
Because most of the time I had to be on panel with you guys, so.
Right. I mean, that's...
The games were excellent,
Can't blame
He means Alan. He means Alan.
Fantastic. He means Alan?
He means Alan.
Okay.
I understood that one.
All right.
Read between the lines.
I mean, I did.
You never liked the professor in class anyway, right?
I dropped out of college for a reason. I was like, this ain't for me.
Definitely not
I'm out.
The economics
I came to
professor.
Dota to avoid that shit. And guess who they put me next to?
Boy, this is just great, guys.
You know what? I really enjoyed Vici today. That's what I'll say. I like being with you guys. I enjoyed the Dota, but Vici for me, Fenrir, the supports, Fenrir Lanem.
Okay.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I like that last game. I think that last game was the best of the day.
You like that one?
Well, just because it was back and forwards, and it was a bit mad and a bit crazy. You didn't quite know which one was going to go and how it was going to fall.
But there was a rapier ending in one of the games.
I know that was fun as well. That was a fun way to end the match, I have to say. A miracle Terror Blade rapier.
Yeah. And then they got
which
crushed
just
2
knocks
games.
towers down instantly, I found.
Yeah, and then they got crushed 2 games right after.
Yeah, they did.
After they won like that, so I'm like, yeah, I think I like that series.
Lots of stuff to think about as we head into day number 2. Thank you very much, gents. We're going to close our show for the first day here at the ESL One Katowice event. It is a major. It is $1 million. There's 1,500 points up for grabs as well. All the teams and the players know this, but my goodness, that all goes out of the window when the Dota game starts. Today we've seen some fantastic games, some surprises and shocks as well. I'm sure the rest of the tournament will be exactly the same, and we'll be back tomorrow with 3 more best of 3s. Do join us then.
They're setting up right now. They use the double shadow amulet, so he's hiding the Sand King.
It's the Chappie strat.
It is the Chappie strat.
With the Coddle, which knocked him out of the stun of Lanham, so a bit of a misplay there from Vici Gaming. Will mean that Rezo still has a bit of a chance, saying that though he is out of mana.
Yes! He stunned himself with a remnant. Beautiful!
Oh.
That is exactly what Lanham needed to do.
Does Intrigue get back in time for a courier snipe? Everyone prepare yourself for some rare drops. He's... no! 5 HP on the courier. 5 HP on the courier. FY, no. There's no way to live through that. Oh wait, no, EG, you didn't finish the job!
As well. He managed to make sure that nobody from Navi is going to escape from this. It's going to be total 5-man wipe. Let's see, man, a quick blink.
Let's put the Manta recipe on. So it would be quite a crucial pick-off, and he's got it. That is going to be the Manta put aside for a few minutes.
He didn't buy the ulti orb. It's just the recipe.
Oh, sure.
Kuro with the zip across.
He's trying to make 11 pay for this. They have the dust. Last 11 back. Wraparound's there for Miracle. He's got the slow from the reflection. So 11 may have put by mind control. He's looking for Lanham. There with the glimpse back, taking Miracle away. But oh, he Manta dodges it. G can look to turn 11. Looking to find that crucial vision. Looks towards mind control, but mind control does get the rift off. But there's the banish and the drag. Look at that. They're separating Matuma Man from mind control, and that will allow them to get the Matuma Man kill.
And if they don't break the secret wall, they lose the fight. Oh, come on. Okay, support, goodbye. Nub tries to run away once more. 4-1 shots won't help me. Phantom rushes towards the creep. It gives him the space and the life to survive.